Yeah, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. Yeah, we need more wisdom, we need more love. I'm screaming peace on my people, I'm talking one love. And positive people, we need some more of. And black-owned businesses in my neighborhood really need to talk about our condition. TV and the media is painting strange pictures. If you see a black man, get your gun because these vicious cops been killing us. Why you think it's cop killers died in the line of duty and the system is his victims? And when you hit the courtroom, you already convicted. But Trayvon and Michael Brown still ain't getting no justice in the long list of names. What you saying? They deserve it. People love our culture, but it's so hard to be urban. And all these urban legends, boy, I swear they ain't the story. Power to the people and the God be the glory. I'm talking to the people when we share our testimony. Let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk.
Hey, my people, what's going on? You're tuning in Major with Major TV. Let's talk. This is where real engagement conversations begin with the Black community. We talk about real issues that affect us, social, political, economic, and racial issues. We definitely address. I want to bring up my co-host, the great elder, Chirari D.L. Kadar. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, my brother?
Peace and love and positive blessings to you and all of our audience out there. We salute you with positivity, with forward motion, forward ever, backward never. In the name of the Most High, the fullness of all of who we are. Say peace.
I want to first greet everybody by saying Jambo. That's why he let me hello. Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Hola, Hotep, peace and blessings, and good day to all my beautiful black people out there. If you're viewing, I would enjoy if you get in the chat and just holler at us. Let us know you're present. I want to thank everybody that's viewing. If you're viewing if you just started viewing, please like and share the video. I want to first acknowledge K Money, NFAC in the building. Thank you, Shalom, brother. Major TV. Thank you so much, K Money, for coming through. Really appreciate it. We got Sister Fern, get some vineyard. Shalom, Major, blessings. Thank you for coming through, sister. K Money said, Shalom, Elder. And Fern said, Shalom, black man, black king, blessings. Salute to all yours out there. We have an interesting conversation that me and the elder will be speaking about that I think y'all will be intrigued with. Right now, we feeling the spirit of the ancestors as the elder beat on the bongos, drums, and we just trying to communicate you all in a very special way right now before we go into discussion today, and that is the people who won't change versus the people that don't want change. And I got the excerpt from out Mr. Nelly Fuller Jr., the United Independent Compensatory Code system and concept. He says the people have the power and ability to change the situation, don't. And those who want to change, they have the ability to change. And me and Elder was speaking a couple of days about this, right? And we said, we're gonna talk about this Saturday. Also, Sister Kathy from last night, she will be tuning a little later on tonight. We're really trying to bring positive vibration, but with information and knowledge attached to it, recognizing the ancestors, of course, our creator. I want to thank David Weeks for coming through. Shalom, my brothers. I salute you both. Thank you, David. And Kid Money definitely shout out. Much love, brother David Weeks. Appreciate that. So as we vibe off of that Africanness, that melanated, that copper tone, that black,
That black.
black. We want to definitely acknowledge Supreme Commander Grandmaster Jay. May he be protected and blessed throughout his legal situation. Please donate support. Do what you've been doing, calling, emailing, and rocking with him. Also, we want to send out positive vibrations to bro Otha Wallace. We should also do the same. Donate, support, write letters, and what have you. Rest in power. I forgot the elder that got shot the night. Well, I think she attempted murder. She got shot. The Nick Hope, she's doing well. I dropped the situation with a 20-year-old mental health problem, black young man shot his grandmother Nick, as well as we know about the recent shooting of Antoine Gilmore with DC police 2 days ago. I want to acknowledge them and all the sisters and brothers been killed by police or died by the hands of violence. We definitely have to keep their name lifted, in prayer, and if we don't know their name, just acknowledge brothers and sisters that have been slain, lost their life. We know about the COVID situation, and we know we losing a lot of soldiers, and it's just sad that we're in the morning hour as opposed to a celebrating hour, but we still have to just be focused on coming together as one. The common problem we have and the common enemy, and we have to make sense of what we need to do. Y'all know this channel's a positive channel. I don't have all the nonsense, I'm starting to send out disclosures and whatnot, because too many times, we're so critical about each other. We're so negative toward each other, and there's so much trauma that we sell to each other that if it's not no drama, people not trying to support anything positive, But for me, I'm gonna stay on the right side, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay on the right side, and I'm gonna do what's right, and I'm gonna pass the message to everybody, whether you hear me or not. I'm loving my journey. At first, I was very unsure. I had my doubts, but now I see what it's all about. It's just about loving being who you are, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of struggle, that we understand that the Creator always have things better in store for us. It's basically how we are willing to submit, how we are willing to center, claim our center, and snatch our purpose and walk in our purpose. I want to thank Sister Lorraine Muhammad for coming through. Peace and peace, family. Thank you. I want to also thank Mr. Smith for coming through. Sabbath Shalom, Major TV, and Elder Robert. All the brothers and sisters in the chat, thank you for coming through. Really, really appreciate it. With everything that's been going on, right? I won't lie, I grew up in tragedy, growing up in the Zion St. No housing projects. I mean, I seen so much of bad things, but I seen a lot of good things too. I seen, even though we was the poorest of the poor, even though we was at the bottom of the barrel, right? We made the best out of it. And a lot of times we understand why we were in that position. We just know we was in a position that wasn't cool, you know what I'm saying? and we made it. I look back so many years ago and see where I'm at now, and like, damn, I still have my sanity. I still have a chance to smile, laugh, enjoy my kids and grandkids, really like enjoy my life, right? But I'm going somewhere with this. How do you smile? How do you stay positive in the midst of chaos, in the midst of trauma? And when I'm talking about trauma, I'm talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome, massive brainwashing, major genocide. I'm using my name now. Major genocide against melanated people. And you see it. And they look you in your eyes and tell you it's not so. How can you still have sanity? How can you still smile? How can you still be positive? And I'm going to say for me, I can only speak for Major, because I believe in the Creator. And I took time to read and study and research. I've been able to meet the elders like Chihuahua. I've been able to understand that once I came out of the dark, there was so much light that was either kept from me or nobody really showed me when I was younger. But once I understood what's going on and I seen how great we were, how great we are, how we've been lied to, how we've been misled, how the very thing that sometimes we look down on was the very thing that helped us survive. And see, what I appreciate is that once you find out the truth, you should smile, because now you should know where your walk should be directed at. So for me, I push positivity, because there's a time for everything. What our people need more than anything, good example. That's why I don't use the profanity on my channel. I don't use the N-word for a reason. See, we supposed to be a people of moral character. We supposed to be a people of moral code, right? And somewhere down the line, we lost that. We know we've been through, right? We know what we've been through. So I'm not going to reiterate that over and over again. But let me say this. We had a point in time in our life whereas our kids are telling us, you telling me this, but you did this. And by we not setting the proper example, they're doing the same thing we doing, and they're throwing in our face. So we don't be responsible enough to watch what come off what slide off our tongue. We don't be responsible enough for how we dress, how we act, how we interact with people. Our kids and people throw it in our face. I watched too many sisters and brothers that support the pro-black movement use every bad word you can think of when they're talking to their people, but still won't act like they cool. We have to set better examples, and we have to be a better people if we want our situation to get better. We straddle the fence too much. And by we straddle the fence too much, we're not really gravitating to what's important. Live by example. Y'all don't know by now, words mean nothing. They don't mean nothing if it's not followed by example. But we wonder why we don't get the donations. We wonder why we don't get the support. Because our people don't see what we're doing. They see we talking. They see we doing things here and there, but we're not all the way applying ourselves. And I know it's a process of building. I know it's a process of creating. I know it's a process of getting there. But we have to lead by example. In saying that, I would like to talk to the elder about our discussion tonight. Our discussion is simple. People who won't change versus people that don't want to. People who won't change their situation versus people that don't I want to talk about that. And I said, I'm coming from a quote from Nelly Fuller, where he's talking about the people, the majority of people have the ability to just shut down white supremacy, refuse. And those who won't don't have the ability to lack of the power or the numbers, you know what I'm saying? But it's small groups like Gerard and me and the 16 people that's in this live right now. They have to make the difference. See, it never was a group of people. It always was one or a few people that multiplied to a large organization, believing in something righteous, right? Acknowledge some people while they're jumping. I'm seeing you come through. All right, how you doing, Miss Deborah Thompson? Shalom, me. Thank you, sister, for coming through. Ripton Gentile, hello, my beautiful queen. Key Major, the elder, respect to all you NFAC family. Black power, bro. Black power to you. Thank you for coming through. Anita, Seven Hawk Spirit, watch excellent news and Prince. Thank you, sister, for coming through. I'm really appreciate everything that that are coming from y'all in the chat. Loving the greetings, the energy. Let's keep it coming. I'm gonna ask the elder to open up the discussion because I just was vibing off the mellow tones of this brother sending out them strong ancestral vibrations. I just want to know how you want to talk, how you want to start, and where we're gonna go at with it. We're gonna feed off each other.
Once again, I want to acknowledge all the elementals that are present here with us in each of our homes and in the homes of those who are viewing us and in the homes of our people at large, that these elementals continue to do the work in the spirit realm to keep us relevant and to guide us along this way so that we can accomplish the things that must be accomplished in order for us to build right now our future. Because the future is built in the now time reality. The discussion that we are going to discuss tonight is a discussion that really is an extension of what we were speaking about first night. And so many that will be last night. Because at the root of our problem will always be mental health. And we speak about post-traumatic slave syndrome or slavery syndrome. I believe that's what it is. We're all suffering from it. Some of us are asymptomatic. A large percentage of us showed all the symptoms of PTSS. When we speak about those who have the will to stand up and the will to address our situation as a people, but do not have the wherewithal, the support, the push, the authority, or what are not empowered to do so. They have the will, but they don't have the empowerment to do so. And then we have those who have the empowerment to do so in abundance, but they do not have the will to do so. And as Iron Major was speaking in times gone by recently, we spoke on that within each of those categories, those two categories, there are small percentages of those who have the empowerment but not the will. is a small percentage amongst them that has the will to go along with the empowerment. And amongst those who have the will but not the empowerment, there's a small percentage among them that has the will and has the empowerment. Our job as righteous thinking people, thinking in the betterment of our race, our job is to find those people and to interface them or integrate them into a movement of caring and sharing. See, this is the thing that we don't do much of. We have to have a reason to care. We have to have a reason to share. We have to erase that type of an energy. We don't need a reason to care for ourselves. We don't need a reason to share amongst ourselves. So that was the discussion that we had, Major, and we always have to think in terms of the we and the us consciousness, because the I and the me is apparent. You know, I can see you and you can see me. I am who I am and you are who you are, but we don't see the we, and the we is what we need to have. So our job, our work, when we say people talking about people out there doing the work, okay, work can be viewed in many different ways. We must identify those in those two categories. There's an author by the name of Carter G. Woodson. He wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro, as well as the book called the Negro. Yeah, the Negro. I forget the name of the Negro in our way. A Negro of I don't want to misquote him, but Carter G. Woodson is the man to really study when it comes to things talking about the Negro, because he goes way back in the he's an historian. He's the original, what do you call? Yes. He's the original. The copy I have, the cover looks like this. Yeah, you know, so he talks about the truth. And I'm just going to read a small piece out of the preface of his book, where he's speaking about, he said, the difficulty is that the educated Negro is compelled to live and move among his own people whom he has been taught to despise. As a rule, therefore, the educated Negro prefers to buy food from the white grocer because he has been taught that the Negro is not clean. It does not matter how often the Negro washes hands, then he cannot clean them. And it does not matter how often the white man uses his hands, he cannot soil them. The educated Negro, moreover, is disinclined to take part in Negro business because he has been taught in economics that Negroes cannot operate in this particular sphere. The educated Negro gets less and less pleasure out of the Negro church, not on account of its primitiveness and increasing corruption, but because of his preference for the seats of righteousness controlled by his oppressor. This has been his education, and nothing else can be expected of him. If the educated Negro could go off and be white, he might be happy, but only a mulatto now and then can do this. The large majority of this class then must go through life denouncing white people because they are trying to run away from the blacks and decrying the blacks because they are not white. And we spoke first night about the machinery of white supremacy and racism and how they work through economics, through education, through entertainment, through labor law, politics, religion, sex, war. So we know that we are going through a system and to a life of evolution that has been we are purposely placed in this position to even be sitting here having a conversation about, you know, those who have the will but do not have the empowerment. Those who have the empowerment do not have the will. That is purposeful. We are purposely put in that. PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. These are things that's been brought to us. Okay, so we feel like we see that. How do we combat that? We already know that we need to identify those amongst us in those two small groups that have the will and the empowerment. At the end of the day, we need individuals and organizations, black individuals and black organizations to have the will and be empowered to bring about positive change and well-being for our people. The important thing also in that whole process is for us all to be fully knowledgeable of who and what our adversary is and what the character of our adversary. We must understand that. In addition to that, we must also have a clear understanding and knowledge of who we are in the construct of this journey. I think if we do not establish those facts, going forward become very difficult, and it becomes an on and off type of journey. In other words, it'd be like the person who loses 15 pounds this week but gains 25 pounds next week. So it's like pounds off, pounds on. You know, they're not really, they want their goal to be achieved, but because they're applying the wrong strategy, what's going on is they're just experiencing a off and on motion, but not really. They want 20 pounds off or 30 pounds off or 50 pounds off, and they want to keep it off. They're not experiencing that. They're going to forward and then backwards and forward and backwards. That's what they're experiencing. So we need to understand who our adversary is. You know, this adversary could also be known by many names, like a colonizer, colonists, imperialists, you know, can be named by many different names. Many different names have been spoken of this particular group of people that go around colonizing and go around doing things that is diametrically opposite to the well-being of humanity. So one of the things that I felt like would be helpful when, you know, when we did first night, I read the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes is a list of blessings that the one Jesus Christ in the Bible spoke of when he spoke and to his disciples said, blessed, he called out certain things. And when you can identify, who is he speaking to? Who is he speaking to? And we're talking about PTSS now. We're talking about mental illness as being a part of the journey that we need to identify so that we can know who we are. See, once we know who we are, then we can wake up, right? So the Hold on 1 second.
I want to thank Antoine for this super chat. What's up, brother Major and Panel? In room B1 first. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it, my brother.
Like for instance, like blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Who are the poor in spirit? You know, when you go back to our existence, you'd see how we were broken people. Before Emancipation Proclamation, we cannot deal with the situation we're in today unless we go back to the source. To the source. This is what a lot of us and a lot of the adversaries' children do not want to discuss. The harm, the injury, and the brutality that we had weathered to be here today. And if the world knew, and if all of us understood really the magnitude of what we have survived as a people, they would have a little more compassion in their hearts for our people and our children today. So because it's a hidden thing, they want to keep it hidden. They don't want to discuss it. They don't have no discussion on it because no one wants to deal with the ramifications of the discussion, which is restitution, which is reparations, which is arms, ALM, arms. We are the poor. We weren't poor originally. We came out of our Aboriginal state, well qualified to usher in modernization, well qualified to do all these different things that has been done, and we have proven it. There would be no GPS if it wasn't for us. You know, we are the ones that invented the GPS system. You know, there would be no what you call heart bypass surgery if it wasn't for us. We invented this stunt and did the whole procedure of bypass. Our ancestors, our foreparents. So we're here in a situation now where we must identify ourselves. We are the poor. We are those that is said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Where is the kingdom of heaven? Many of us will say when they hear, they say, well, oh, you know, we talking about we have to die, go to heaven, but that was what was taught to us. Heaven, you do not have to die to go to heaven. You're already here. Heaven is this earth we're on. We don't understand how the manifestation is real. The creator is real. It's not a do you have faith or do you believe? Based upon scriptures, the firmament is the sky that we see and the earth below, the atmosphere. The heaven is anything above the sky, like the planets, the stars, and beyond, outer space. It's a vast area. The heavens is vast. So what is it saying? For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is the firmament and the earth. So blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. That means this belongs to us, the poor. We have to be able to be real when we're dealing with the spirit and not allow our minds to see the spirit as some kind of invisible entity. Yes, it is that, because we're breathing in the air, the oxygen, that's spirit. But look, see, spirit and body is one. So don't we have to drop a lot of conceptions that were fed into us Why we have PTSS. It was fed into us. We were people that knew and understood the relationship. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Nobody mourned more than us. We're mourning even today. Sister Saisha had her children taken from her. She was mourning on live on social media. It was a live stream. The husband was streaming it live as she was going. She was crying like those mothers whose babies were torn from them and sold up and down the river. 2021, this is happening. Blessed are they, those who mourn. When Trayvon Martin was killed, when Aubrey was killed, their mothers mourned. We mourned, the whole people. When Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was killed, the whole nation mourned. We have to understand who we are, as well as who our adversaries are. It's very important so that we can get out of this PTSS and understand that fear is not an option. You have the right to be afraid if you choose to, but in this movement, in this struggle, in this reality, in this realm, in this truth, in this love, fear is not an option. Fear and God has nothing in common. Matter of fact, scripture-wise, God says, fear not, O ye of little faith. But when you go to church, the preacher man tells you to fear God. And on the next breath, he tells you that God is love. So why does love want fear? Has anyone asked that question? How come God is love, but the preacher man is telling us we should fear love? Subliminal suggestions are being fed into our minds. Love wants nothing more than love in return. Think about it. You love your husband and or your wife. What do you expect back from your husband and or your wife? Do you want them to fear you because you love them? Or do you want them to love you right back? You love your children. Do you want them to love you right back, or do you want them to fear you? Let's be sensible. Let's think. Let's think. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Now, let me do this. The thing is, what we want to do is we want to look at these words that are being used. Remember, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and God created. The Word created, and the Word is what was used to create by God. The word meek is an attitude or quality of heart whereby a person is willing to accept and submit without resistance. 500 years of meekness. Who are the meek, if not us? Even into these modern times, when the young man went into the church and shot up those people, meek, we came out and showed empathy for the young man that did such an egregious act against us. And we forgave him on national television, thereby solidifying your identity, the Christ-like people, the meek. So We say, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Emancipation Proclamation was a mercy. The Civil Rights Movement was a mercy. An evolution towards a greater fulfillment of law. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. We're all God's. We see each other. We know this. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. We're the biggest peacemakers in existence. You don't hear us trying to annihilate whole ethnic groups. We're not into ethnic cleansing. We don't do this. The adversary does. Who does that? The colonist does. This is a historical fact that whole Aboriginal indigenous tribes of people in America were wiped out. Places in Australia, wiped out. Aborigines, wiped out. We understand. So now that we understand who we are and who our adversaries are, how do we now move forward in achieving our goals? How do we move forward? We need to identify certain things. Remember, if we say peace, the adversary says there's no money in peace. So we want war. Who's going to do the warring? Our children will be used as fodder for the fire. And it will blaze. The war will rage and it will be blazing. It will be an inferno. Okay. So we understand now, if we seek peace, we must seek the peace in a fashion where your adversary do not understand and do not know that you are seeking peace. You cannot steal away with a parade and a big fanfare. Oh, I'm stealing away, I'm leaving, I'm going to freedom land, I'm going to my freedom, I'm going to my self-sufficiency, and everybody that wants to come with me, come on, come on. That doesn't make any sense, knowing your adversary. Your adversary does not encourage you to be self-sufficient. It is counterproductive to the plans of your adversary for you to be self-sufficient. Does that mean we have to say, well, we're not going to be self-sufficient? No, it just means that we understand. Why can't we display some form of understanding as a people? Because we are suffering from PTSS. It's a mental illness, which blocks us from what? Blocks us from our well-being. And so what is well-being? Because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to our well-being. Well, well-being is a positive outcome that is meaningful for people and for many sectors of society, because it tells us that people perceive that their lives are going well. Good living conditions. And now what we're talking about? We're talking about housing. We're talking about housing. Good living conditions. Do we have that? Hell no, because we are dependent on their what? housing development, their housing, whatever scheme of housing they got in store for us. They gave us projects. Was that good for us? Hey, it was somewhere to live, but was it good? No. There's not no way for nobody to really live, but that's what they gave us. Good living conditions like housing, employment. What they did with the employment, they redlined our community. So limiting us to not be able to move forward. Our fundamentals. Okay, so good living conditions are fundamentals to well-being. Tracking these conditions is important for public policy. However, many indicators that measure living conditions fail to measure what people think and feel about their lives, such as the quality of their relationships, their positive emotions, and resilience, the realization of their potential, or their overall satisfaction with life, their well-being. Well-being generally includes global judgments of life, satisfaction feelings ranging from depression to joy. See, so we're talking about the health of our people. We're talking about PTSS as what is creating this constant fight that we are going through. This constant, why I don't understand why Black people can't get together. I don't understand why Black people can't cooperate with one another. I don't understand why Black people can't build their own shit. I don't understand why Black people and on and on and on. These are designed for that. So when you come into, you want your own economics, you don't need to be talking. Yes, we do need to be more self-sufficient. We need to do all of that. Yes, I encourage all Black people to do that. But we need to sit down together and discuss that. We don't need to invite the whole world in our discussion. You know, we need to go slow in order to get far. We need to understand that quality is better than quantity. We need to understand that before you can build a structure, you must first build the foundation of the structure. And if the foundation is weak, the structure will be weak. The structure is only as strong as its foundation. This is just common sense. You do not have to have a degree for that, to just think about it. You know. So, you know, we have to look at life from the sense of what we're looking for is well-being. Well-being is useful for public health because well-being integrates mental health, which is the mind, and the physical health, which is the body, resulting in more holistic approaches to disease prevention and health promotion, as well as just progressive movement. And then before we spoke about well-being, we spoke about the unification of the mind and the body. We spoke of that in an earlier broadcast a few weeks ago, I believe, that when they say divide and conquer, they weren't talking about divide the body, divide me from a brother, me from a sister. That's not the division, but that's what they want us to believe. What they divided was our minds from our heart, from our spirit, our true self. We have pureness of heart. And when our minds join our pureness of heart, we are unified. And when we're one, we're able to do whatever we need to do that promotes our well-being. So you see, well-being integrates that mental, that mind, with that body, which is that heart. The heart is the body. Okay? Well-being is a valid population outcome. It measures beyond morbidity, mortality, and economic status. That tells us how people perceive their life is going from their own perspective. So you see, this has to be from our perspective. It can't be from the perspective of our adversary. And this is one of the things that we're having problems with. Empowerment. See, where we have the authority to govern ourselves, to be determined, self-determination, to decide what our destiny will be. It's been since Emancipation Proclamation until now, and we are still confused as to what we need to do. That's a whole lot of years that has gone by. However, we do not have to be in a hurry. You see, that's one of the things that hurts us, because we're always trying to rush to do things. We must learn to be patient and to focus on what is important. What is important is that we identify those that have the will and those who have the empowerment on both sides of the spectrum. Those who have the empowerment but not the will, we need to identify amongst that population those who have it together. So it's at the end of the day, we have to identify those of us who have it together. And those of us who have it together have to destroy one thing and one thing only from their consciousness. And that's fear. Why are we afraid to talk to each other? Why are black men afraid to talk to black men? Why are black men more comfortable talking with black women? Why is that? That is PTSS. Black women need to speak with black women and stop fighting each other. There's no competition. And black men need to talk with black men. Stop fighting each other. Stop doubting each other. Stop looking at each other in a suspect way. The suspect is your adversary, male and female. You know, so there's so much more we can get into, but I really want to share. I want Major to speak, and I would like whatever the spirit has for me from this point on to put forth. I tried my best to put out as much as I could, but it's so much information. So much information. As we say at Major TV, we're trying to get the people what they can ingest and digest and assimilate into their body structure that will give their body and their spirit the nourishment and the nutrition that they need from a both mental, spiritual, and physical standpoint.
All right. Thank you, Gerard. I really, really enjoyed what you shared with the people. And I want to turn up a little notch, and I want to turn the volume just a little notch.
You're going to turn it up?
A little notch. Turn the volume a little notch. You can want to move slow, but you never know when you may go viral. You just have to be prepared. And the problem I know is about our people. We recognize the Most High all the time, right? We talk about him. We will never be ready when it really matters. See, when you embark upon a journey like we doing, you're supposed to be prepared for what? The unknown. Too many times we caught off guard thinking it'll just be a few hundreds and become thousands. Who would think I have over 4,000 subscribers and in action I got? I didn't know what I was doing, right? And it happened. But I answered the call. So for me, I really believe that you have no control over if you talk to a few, no few can tell many. Everything is being recorded though. So once we drop it live, it's going to Uverse. And I got my people behind the scenes, the YouTube algorithm trying to get their message out there. I do believe there's an urgency, but I do believe you have to be patient.
Yes.
Nothing was built overnight. You have to take your time. And see, what I notice about people when they read scripture, even when you go to church, right? It's hard for people to see the connection with the two of when you speak in scripture and how it apply in everyday life, right? Because see, scripture don't teach you how to start a business. Scripture don't teach you about financial literacy. Scripture don't teach you about real estate, right? So when you go to scripture, what have you, it's more of structure. It's more of prophecies. It's more of direction as well as predictions and what have you. And I'm just only paraphrasing. I'm not trying to say I'm a Bible scholar, Quranic scholar. Well, I'm just speaking, right? But we have to the people understand this. If we can't make sense of how to survive, because they have so many stories we read in scriptures, so many stories. And I see some of the same people that read these scriptures that's very profound make some major missteps, right? And will go to scripture to justify the misstep, but life is what it is. You can't live a life in a book. You gotta live life real. This is real what's going on. So when you get those scriptures inside, you get that spiritual calling, you get something that overwhelms you, and you go forth to the world with it. You have no control, you know what I'm saying, as to how it spread. What's important is long as we do our part. See, it's no excuse because we have too much history just in this country to show you the success stories, right? That eventually turn into division. When you look back with Marcus Delaney and Frederick Douglass, right? Look at how they was at odds. But think about it, could have came together. When we look at W. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey, W. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. Look at these great minds, right? But look what happened. Look at King and Malcolm X. Look at Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson. Look at what's going on right now. But the funny part about it, we have a history of showing that we have built great communities. And they later came and destroyed. A lot of communities underwater right now. There are examples. You have examples from the Asian community. When Japan got bumped, Japan waged war through technology. When China was going back and forth with Great Britain, you know what I'm saying? Look how they went through manufacturing and technology. We had a chance to go at war with the music industry, and we didn't. And when I say go at war, see, because there's a time for peace, it's time for war. I'm not one to just push peace out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand we have to have peace in our center, in our space, in our community. But for our adversary, we got to just move wisely, prepared, because we don't know how they're really coming. So the only thing we got to do is mark our steps and understand that, hey, if they come, we have to try to prepare for whatever way they come. But there's a way when they come, they say Cold War between Russia and United States, that Cold War they say here, right? That was a Cold War, just like with China and Britain, and even with Japan, even though we know they're allies with the United States, but in a slick way, it's things you do. Like over here in the United States, you already know that we had several movements in here. You know what I'm saying? The most notable movement of the 60s, Black Power movement, right? And even then, we didn't follow good examples. What I know is right now about the pro-black movement now, we don't know how to make money. That's why we don't know how to build communities. We don't know how to make money. I mean, if we were truly sincere, about healing our community and rebuilding our community, we wouldn't be living the lavish lives. We wouldn't be doing whatever with our money and getting behind the microphone saying the same thing that we have been saying for ages. I really believe that this is the time to seize. I don't think anytime later in the future we ever get a chance we got now. Everything is just, I mean, it's obvious. It's no more them telling you this and them telling you that. I'm talking about the enemy. We know what it is. The question is what we're going to do about it. See, I'm to the point where it could be these 27 people. And when me and Chihuahua, 29 people, I'm cool starting there, right? Because I understand that we moving with the Most High by our side. We moving with intelligence. We moving with tech. We don't always run our mouth and be all over the place, right? I just feel like I see my hashtag. Y'all know I love my hashtag. And the hashtag is simple. Turn word into action. We talk too much. And I feel like now with all the evidence and proof, with all the greatness that we have exhibited just in this country, there is no excuse how black people communities have been destroyed and they bounced back 1, 2, 3, 4 times and we still holding strong. I can't see us not winning, right? I'm gonna tell you the biggest issue with the black community right now. We know mental health the biggest problem, of course, because we can't get out of our own way. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Us individually doing to ourselves too. We could be way more successful than we are. We settle, we find skills for settling. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I'm not. I got one of the biggest heart that you probably ever know as far as a person. My heart is big, but that don't stop me from doing what I got to do. Because I know one thing in this movement, we have to be able to produce to get results. We can't sit down and be running our mouth and expecting that automatic smile to gravitate what we're saying, and it's gonna be. We can't sit down and run our mouth. It's gonna be gravitate what we're saying. All right. We can't sit running our mouth and expect results. No, we have to put boots on the ground too. So with that being said, I just want to just share that, and I want to introduce the sexy goddess, Miss Kathy Garner. What's up, Sister Kat? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Doing okay. I was doing a little studying, just watching some of the videos with Dr. DeGray. And that's what I was doing. I've been just doing a little research today. So it's been a good day. Real hot out here, but it's a good day.
All right, cool. Well, me and Sherrod been going an hour, like, and we kind of piggyback on what we talked about yesterday and what have you. And now, we waiting on what you have to say and what have you. But for me, my heart is full. Just know we having this conversation. And I really, it really was like when Dr. Fuller said about the people that have the power to change won't change the situation, and people that won't change the situation don't have the ability, right? So I say the people who want to change the situation versus people who don't. And we came from a black mental health perspective, but I feel like you can go another way with it too. But it is what it is, And we're not talking about also the egotism, which all that do the post-traumatic slave syndrome. You know what I'm saying? The narcissism. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the people are divided largely because the leadership is divided. They have their own personal agendas, and they cannot sit down and agree. And they steady pointing fingers, right? But I've seen white people get into it like cats and dogs, but guess they come together for you and I. When black people get together, get into it, we ready to kill each other. I mean, the hate is so serious. So for me, it's like even in leadership, that post-traumatic slave syndrome is still left because the divided conquer mentality is so obvious. So, I mean, you can go from wherever you want to go from with it,
I learned a lot from going into the library of Talk Black to Me. Zulu broke down the COINTELPRO. if we're going to learn anything about the art of war and their psychological psychops, things that will create one of the same patterns, one of those learned patterns to come back up. So that COINTELPRO, it talks about what they're going to do is they're going to try to slander you. So when we try to build, we're talking about building some type of unity with leadership and all this, right? They will attack the leader. They're going to say there's something morally corrupt, morally bankrupt, agent. They put out a little pamphlet on Dr. King, the FBI did, and said it was created by the Catholic Veterans Association. There's no such thing. But they put that pamphlet out and put it around churches where Black people started shunning him. Okay? So when you're trying to raise money or trying to get your group together, here comes the FBI. Now, how long have they been doing that? I read some stuff about them. When Billie Holiday wrote that song, Strange Fruit, they did something with her heroin. Whether they gave her more or tried to mess with the supply or whatever, she told him, I'm singing this song. So they attacked her with the drugs. So we get the drugs, the guns, where do they come from? The types of attacks they use, they're repetitive. It's not like we don't see them coming. We should. That's why I try to show that there's something coming back this 100 years. Because every 100 years they try the same stuff and they just repackage it. If you go back to the slave master philosophy, because Nelly Fuller is speaking about a philosophy. Logic is based in philosophy. And literally in the 1700s, if you Google it for us and put it up there, you can show it. It's under Wikipedia, and it's a slave master philosophy. Nothing's changed. There was the Willie Lynch papers and the philosophy. That philosophy has not changed. There was a man that I was just listening to, the professor, the doctor, Dr. Joy DeGroy. If I say it right, it's almost like DeGray, but I'm still pronouncing it wrong. She talked about in ancient times, in equity, she called it in the old ancient antiquity. Thank you for that word. That's exactly what she said. In antiquity, there wasn't any definition of white. This is something newly formed in about the 1800s. They did that they did it with eugenics, a made-up science. She showed the documentation on these men that made that 5 different Caucasoid, Mongoloid, all that stuff. That dude had papers from a mail order institution. One dude got his PhD off of a 15-page thesis. I mean, one of them was like a mail order, where you mail order to get your degree in the Netherlands or something. So they had no real scientific backbone in any of the work they did. But even today, you still see the remnants of that, of all these things that they placed upon us, because they had to have a group consciousness to be able to accept what they were doing to us in the middle of having a constitution talking about freedom and all this. So it all comes back down to, we've been in a system that was never set up for us. The door of no return. They didn't expect us to survive. We were disposable commodity. So how do I want to put this? I basically am saying that when you look at the violence, when you look at the whole mental health, the whole structure, it's been structured against us. And by real institutions, you talked about the institutions on your walk. these institutions have codes, and that in COINTELPRO is the code book. So once we can understand this is how they're going to come at us, they're going to come at us this way, that way, or the other. They're going to make up this lie. They're going to use the media.
But I don't think it's a thing we don't understand, Miss Cat. I just think that we take it for granted. I think most leaders come out there and most of them know better. They just take it for granted. We, like Gerard tried to remind us about the secrecy thing, you know, and we suppose there's no secret, but we have to know how to communicate in code. And if somebody gonna get knocked off or get locked up, somebody gotta come and play. But the problem, we take that for granted. You can't say they talk online all aggressive and you know what I'm saying? And not gonna really do anything. And my problem, that's why I don't be with all the rah-rah my freaking, so I understand what we dealing with. And too many times we talk about the COINTELPRO, we talk about Willie Lynch and what have we know better, but we still do different. We know better. Ain't nowhere in the world 2021 somebody, I'm talking about recent years, 2020, 20th century, 21st century, step out the forefront and speak about liberation for their people and not be mindful that they would make it their butt locked up or get killed. You have to know how to navigate. Like you said, Nelly Fuller kept his papers by his side, right? That's how we got to trust the movement. We got to use every example we see, whether it's GMJ, Ozone, whoever. We have to see this. Too many times we look the other way. Too many times we try to make excuses. Even people that's in the movement right now, they talk that white supremacy and racism, whatever, but they definitely stay in their place and not go too far left and right. Because when you do, you see what they have done. So what they did with GMJ, they did that, the King, Malcolm X, you know. So my point is, Marcus Garvey, my point is, when are we going to be wise in the movement? When we going to watch our wordplay? When we going to be on code? When we are going to not even think about no Willie Lynch and no COINTELPRO? That's ancient stuff that we still let that invade our mind right now. Well, to our COINTELPRO. You feel me? We in government. We everywhere. We everywhere. We can infiltrate in and everything. We choose not to. They can't even afford to have a civil war, how this country is and what have you, right? But at the same time, you know, we're not even thinking that far because we're not even unified to even look at it that way. My whole point is that when you attack, instead of we say, let's go build. See, I got to give Devin George a lot of props. That brother's a former NBA star. He wasn't even known. And then, you know, like as a star, you know. That's brother building community. You hear him saying that. I watched this brother on Kwame was talking. He never said nothing about white people, nothing. He was just talking about helping the people. See, once we remove that out of our vocabulary and focus on our people, we already know how they come in. You have to be ready. And for me, I practice on dealing with the unknown, right? Because the unknown can come all kind of ways. You got to really think about what they snatch you up in the interrogation room and do some shock therapy to you or something like. You have to be ready. What they snatch you and bring you on an island somewhere in the goddamn jungle and whatever to you. You know, you might don't never come back around. You may go crazy, it might kill you. We got to think about that. So if you know it's a possibility, somebody's going to come after you. See, we give them too much power. You know why? Because it's all in our brain. It's all in our brain. They already got us messed up. We don't realize there's so much money out there for black people. It's so much we can get. We brainwash ourselves. We brainwash our people. We literally brainwash because we say things to our people.
We speak it into existence. It's speaking it into existence. We speak a lot of things into existence.
I'm talking about brainwash. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know that is brainwashing. When you think negative, when you think negative, when you can't think on your own, when you don't use your own logic, you know, that brainwashing and all of it's all together.
It's like, I'm gonna show you, for instance, you got people like when I first got on YouTube, I watch all these people out there right now for years. I mean, I read that book, I read the books they talk about, right? And I watch how people in 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015 lost as hell. You feel me? And how the trauma getting played on, how it's being commercialized, right? It donate all this money to get a whole big museum, you know what I'm saying? But you can't do nothing in the community. What the goddamn museum gonna do for us? We can do that later. Let's first build. We're gonna throw in 4 hours, get $1 million for a museum. That's how backwards we are. But you know why? There's so those even conscious brainwash their own people. That's what we deal with.
That's not even that. They're just those are users.
You know,
that's not.
You learn something. You show people you're articulate, you're intelligent, you process what's going on, right? But you really have no real answers. You live in a high life. And for me, I want my life to be simple. So I know your word won't say some things, but I just need people to understand. Stop it. We're making it harder than it is. You know you targeted. You know you're being killed. You know you're being excluded. You know you're being messed over. So you got to be smart. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely can't hate another black person. That just don't make no sense. Just don't deal with them. And for me, it's just mind-boggling that we have these conversations about certain things. And you got to call it what it is. You know, you got to call it what we just haven't done enough. Marcus Garvey went there. We got people that went there. Malcolm X went there. You know, we know people that went there and tried their best. We see people give them stuff. I'm using Malcolm X. I'm using Malcolm. We seen people devote themselves, right? Look what happened. And the issue is we don't have too many people doing it. We're dealing with more easy. We can deal with egotistical monsters. You know, we're dealing with people that think that as soon as they do something, they're great, and it don't go like that. You have to keep doing. You have to keep your people strong and ready to go. And right now, I just don't see people just putting their money where their mouth is. I don't see people really, I see things happening, right? But we can't get contented. We can't celebrate nothing. You know what I'm saying? Only thing we can do is be happy that, we awoke and we coming together. And it's possibilities that our liberation is right there. Elaine talking about self-determination, and I fully support her. But trust me, that's only one thing among many things we got to do, because you can get the land, all of your people don't understand how to handle money. Your people don't know how to do logical thinking in certain situations. If the government and the internet ain't right, the government that they create ain't right, it's going to be in vain. So teaching got to be across the board, as well as demonstrating. So, I'm on yellow flow, but I just be listening to these conversations, and I be like, damn, like I know I'm not the only one that think like this, but I'm like, are we saying what's going on? Because I don't give them no power, because they taught me a lot. The enemy taught me so much. They teach you so much if you just pay attention. It's so much being revealed. That's why I say when you do your spiritual discernment, a person's talking long enough, you're gonna be able to look at their soul. You're able to discern, you're gonna be able to dissect them, their messages, and what have you. But you gotta be attentive. It's so much jewels these cars are dropping on that we miss it. It's so much they do that we see, we miss it. Because you know why? We're led by emotions and not by the spirit. And we're not logically coming to conclusions. So it's so easy for us to get mad and respond to emotions. And at the end of the day, you lose because why? You always underestimate the enemy. Are you the flow?
Yes. I'd like to point out, if we keep things in its simplest form, and we focus not on the symptoms of the situation, but on the root cause of the situation. In society, in society is made up of two people: the competent and the incompetent. Those are the two people. This society in which we live in, which is global, they thrive on the incompetent. To be competent is counterproductive to the society and the systems in which we now live. In order for us to be liberated, we must exit the house that we're in. See, we're trying to get liberation in a house that don't belong to us. We have not built our house. This is what we need to do first and foremost. In the building of our house, this is where the exclusivity must exist. The adversary feeds on information. A computer cannot do anything if you don't program it the way you want it to operate. And even after you have programmed it, and it begins to operate contrary to your programming, they have an action that you can take called reboot. You just reboot, turn it off, disconnect, wait a few seconds or whatever minute, and plug it back in and turn it back on. So this is the type of system we live in, and this is the type of adversary we're facing. The mere fact that we know that COINTELPRO is dealing with information, and they try to gather the information by any means necessary. Now, we got to take that back to the plantation, prior to Emancipation Proclamation, and the years that we were in that condition before we even got to Emancipation Proclamation, before we even got to Civil Rights Movement, before we even got to police brutality and all that stuff we're going through right now today. The enemy feeds on information. When the enslaved and oppressed and brutalized people of my aunt's foreparents was on the plantation, and they said, we got to run, we got to get the hell off of here, we got to get away from here. It was some other ones of us that went and gave information so that we could be caught, so that we could be stopped. And I'm saying this because we have to break it down to simplicity. And the people that are suffering from the symptoms, there's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do. Well,
I agree with Major.
Sister, well, that's fine that you agree with Major.
By myself?
I don't disagree with Major, and I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with anybody. I'm just stating my insight. This is why I see the world, and this is what from my experience of living as a Black man in the world, from I was 7 years old, 8 years old, and started traveling internationally. From what I've seen, life is the same wherever I go, whatever continent I'm on, whatever city or town I've been in, living in, whatever job I've been on, work I've been doing, it's the same. I don't see no difference, but I do understand this. We are in a town that we did not create, that we did not make. And the towns that we did control and did have and was very prosperous, they destroyed it out of envy, out of greed, out of money, out of these things. So
we gave it up for integration, don't you think? We just gave it up for integration. We gave it up for what we thought was this, that, or the other. I mean, that's another time that we were sold something intangible. We
were already integrated. We just were
we
not
had our own business, right?
Look,
We were integrated. When we were enslaved before Emancipation Proclamation, we were integrated on the plantation. People have to understand integration just simply means you're integrated. Whether it's wrong or right, or it doesn't matter. We were integrated on the plantation. What was happening though was where we were being brutalized. We were being totally disrespected. We were not human. We're not treated as human beings. Emancipation Proclamation comes along, and we now can walk around. But we were still being brutalized. You know, integration is a trick word. We were already integrated. What we were seeking was equal rights and justice. They knew that they were not going to give us that. So they created integration. And because the incompetency of the people that called themselves Black leaders at the time, they were the ones that accepted that because they were incompetent. And they identified, the adversary that is, identified those amongst us that they could speak with and have their way. They did not speak to the Black people at large. They spoke to a handful of Black people like Martin Luther King and all of his followers and the different people. And then they had white people that marched with him and walked with him and was talking in his ears too. And other people, Jesse Jackson and all the rest of them, they did not, then those people did not come to the Black folks and say, oh, now Black people, you know, they want to give us this. What do y'all think? If you notice, all of our leaders that are called Black leaders were not elected by none of us.
There's your COINTELPRO.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying, COINTELPRO.
Of course,
is like,
they weren't.
See, my problem is this. My problem is this.
You know, we just have to deal with the reality of it.
Well, my problem is this: when you talk about we built this country, and my problem why we can't be like the Asians, why we just can't buy up America. We don't have to claim we can go back continent, but let's own everything. See, my problem is we keep talking about self-determination. We don't know how to money. So we do get land, they're gonna still come at you like they're doing in Africa and everywhere else. I don't understand how we're gonna say self-determination and we don't know community building. We don't know how to handle money and blah blah. We built this country, so we are very capable, but we are inferior people because you know why? They told me inferior, they treat us inferior, they handle us like that. You gotta realize Black people have been reduced down to a working class people, not by choice, right? And what we have done in leadership, and we have compromised all that. So my whole point is, even talking about self-determination, like I told you, Landon, and I told you, you got to still deal with the white folk, the big five. I'm going to tell you, Britain, United States, Russia, France, and China. Still got to deal with that. Can't get around it. All the people in the United Nations, they're former colonized countries that probably still deal with neocolonialism. I have no problem. I mean, I was debating on my channel when I first met her talking about this. Our people, we were talking about, she told me to talk about SBA. I said, I thought y'all were with the government. She said, oh, how would I get the government money? What have? I'm like, and I'm confused because people be saying things and we be spewing stuff in our community. And our people become more and more ignorant because you know why? They're not being multifaceted. They're not doing everything. Self-determination, learning about financial literacy, learning how to invest, learning how to real estate, learn everything. It's a process. Even when you fall into the United Nations, what you do next? You gonna just sit there and wait? Your people still need to know about the history. They still need to know how to handle money. They still need to know how to invest. They need to know how to compete in technology and everything, science and whatnot. And we don't push that. You know why? Because we get locked on one or two things and think it's no one true answer towards our liberation. All this gotta work. I'm not against nobody picking up guns. I'm not against nobody not picking up guns. But I'm against when people talk about doing something for the people and they don't do it. That'd be my problem. Like I fully support self-determination after the debate we landed and what have you. After her informing about this, that, another. But at the end of the day, we built this country. We have original people. We have some of us are originals that live here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we have to know how to do what the Jews did, Japan, China. We have to eat Germany. I forget about Germany. How these people able to build, and I don't see why we haven't learned that yet. We don't have to. This don't have to be our country. We can buy a lot of stuff in this country with some land somewhere else, and we're not gonna be here. But we have to know how to do that, and we don't. If you think, why you think when Africans became independent, all the corruption and all going on? You think when we get our own sovereign nation, they won't come out and infiltrate and all that there? We don't know who's who. They coming. They coming in great numbers. You have a lot of people selling out. You have a lot of fake government coming through there. We none of us are trained in dealing with government and blah, blah, blah. And we talking about this, so all that's still gonna happen. So we don't get our people prepared now for when we do start having our own government, our own land, it's gonna be still problem, major problem. And I'm saying this out of respect and love for you, Elena, because we had this conversation. I mean, how we good, right? We good, you and I good, but I'm not gonna downplay that the fact right now we are ignorant people when it comes down to money. We're ignorant people when it come down to come together and building a community. And those who are doing it, we don't even hear about. If Kwame Brown will bring Devin Jordan Child, we never heard about that brother, how he's doing in the community. And one of my New Orleans, one of the cities he building, so I'm saying that we don't want to discourage stuff like that. We want to encourage it. If we get some more Devin Georges and what have you, that's great, because everybody's not going to be about self-determination. And we still have the ties to the states and dealing with them in border trade or what have you, but we have to be informed. And those who doing good, they probably don't even go nowhere. Blacks who doing good, they probably stay within the system because they're benefiting. But I always say individual success means nothing if you don't have collective success. So I have to put this because my channel is based upon put your financial literacy community building. More than black media, I wasn't familiar with the black media term until later on. I want the people to know because I watch so many people. My friends right be on YouTube. They started getting themselves together now. They're doing so they was on the fence for years. On the fence, scared to make moves. We don't know how fearful our people is to make steps. And you hear the telling my stocks get paranoid, start a business get paranoid. Oh, and then you have none of us that's really going to community, really showing up. I'm helping my friends, I'm showing them all kinds of stuff, help them start their business, but it's hard when you got the masses. If I got people that's doing good, got good credit scores and whatever, but on the fence, just imagine those who don't have the good credit scores, don't have the real good job, that need that little push. So, that's why I came into to help people. I come in to try to teach my people and help them, whatever. I was talking about donating, and I'm still with donating. If a person started business, I would help. You know what I'm saying? I have all kind of ideas, but I'm just one person. I be trying to pass it on. But it's just, we have to watch what we say, because our people are ignorant. And believe me, we got clear examples in Africa. As soon as they got independence, how the countries went up in smoke. You know what I'm saying? It took forever to come back around. It was like you fighting for independence. When you get it, they made it show you suffer. They made it show it's hard, and they made it show that. And then most of them probably was in school and knew what's going on. And I'm just saying we just gotta look at this for what it is.
We just
killing them government, but killing the presidents over there too. United Patrice Lumumba. We know about all that. Come on now. This is no secret.
Wasn't it 7 just this year? 6 or 7 presidents? You got Haiti, Tanzania, Chad.
So my thing is, we are dealing with the belly of the beast. You know what I'm saying? I heard that long, the belly of the beast. And I mean, you can be meek and humble like King, they're gonna kill you. You can be radical like Malcolm X, they're gonna kill you. So if you know they're gonna kill you, you still gotta do what you gotta do, but we gotta do everything. We gotta put self-determination. We gotta put informing our people. We gotta show them. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I want to say.
Ice Cube said, F what they looking at. You know what I mean? Sometimes just do your thing and forget. I mean,
all right.
You said be safe, but you can't just live in fear of retaliation. It's gonna come or it's not. Maybe it doesn't always come. Maybe you just end up with that psychological fear. That's part of the psych op.
Why do you think they kill us?
You're in fear. You're in fear of being killed because you see us getting killed.
Yeah, they're killing us. They're locking us up. You know, that's to put fear.
We're witnessing it. We're witnessing it. Right?
Yeah.
Broad daylight in front of our kids. Now we got psychological problems. I mentioned to you offline when we were behind that in South Central, I raised my kids off of Arlington and Jefferson in South Central. And they went to 6th Avenue School. And we either had police taping off something that had happened, or we had chalk lines of dead bodies. As I'm taking my kids to school, I'm holding their hands, whatnot, right? And until I started listening to Dr. DeGroy, I'm gonna mess up her name, and I'm gonna say Dr. Joy. I'm gonna just I won't even try the last name because that's so. Until I really listened to her, did I realize how normalized those chalk lines were that we walked over. All of us were taking our kids to school, walking over those chalk lines. Other times it would be empty casings of bullets. I mean, we had a lot of that, you know. So I think it was a psychological terror, because in LA they take those helicopters and hover it like especially if you would been to Vietnam. But they bring them helicopters, and it's always like you know you're being watched. You know you have a militarized police system, and the psychological toll of that, I just can't imagine. All I'm looking to do is identify doctors, psychologists, sociologists that are already practicing, that already have their licenses, that are Black first, and have a directory of some kind, especially if you have a Zoom practice. If you've been seeing patients on Zoom or some type of online way because of the crisis that we're all under, the doctors are now, we're doing this. I see a doctor just like I'm looking at you. So how many psychologists are out here that could easily take, you know, some of our insurances? We have insurance. Some people have cash. We're not asking and begging for you to do it for free. We just want to know who you are, where you are, so we can connect to try to start somewhere to get better. We want to build better. We don't want to build the same thing that was already sick. Otherwise, we're just creating the cycle of violence, because there's so much violence. How do we get the kids, or not kids, the young people, to put their guns down, or keep them and know where to funnel this energy, not towards themselves and the people around them? So all I could say is we could start one by one, in one session at a time. We could maybe do groups. We could maybe do group PTSS, you know, post-traumatic slavery. All it takes is honesty and willingness, and someone that has an MFW. I mean, you're out there. I know you are. So we're waiting for those people. That's who I'm trying to look for. And the ones that know how to handle money. You're absolutely right. You know, we don't have a clue. We're not taught that. These young kids, Trump had a trust since he was 2 years old. Millions of dollars in his 2-year-old trust. He was a 2-year-old kid. So they taught him how to handle money, and know the codes of the tax system. That coding. He might be in trouble now, but it was working for him for a while, because he knew the codes, the language of that system. Every specialty has its own language, its own genre. If you're a psychologist, you know what that means. If you're in business, Come on. We have specialists in every field. So we're asking for people that can know how to professionally heal us. Take us in as clients. Let us know where you're at so we can reach out to you. I mean, if you think about it, the reason Major started talking about Black mental health is from a suicide. Remember? It was a suicide phone call that he got from a Black mother who just lost her adult son to suicide. So we need help. I've tried things myself that are not healthy. So, but I can be honest about it. Things have been done to us as women that are not healthy. Things that have been done to our boys, especially when they put them in these juvenile detention centers early and young. What you think happens to them in there? They don't come back out right. And then they're gonna marry your teenage daughter? We got some work to do. So I think it starts with finding the professionals that are willing to say, hello, I'm a Black doctor. I'm here for my community. That's all we need. Some Black psychologists. We could even use interns from universities. Aren't you right there by Atlanta? Aren't you in Georgia? Where the historically Black colleges and universities? You get units for that, don't you? Get a hold of Major TV, see what we can do. Nothing beats a failure but a try.
You have something you want to say, Rory?
Yeah, Black people say reduced to a working class of people. Black people really has always been the working class. Prior to Emancipation Proclamation, that's all we did was work and build this nation that we know today.
Essential workers.
But what we are reduced to in this time is consumers.
Mm-hmm.
We are consumers now. They've taken our ability to work away from us because they realized that we was working up a storm. Because we were working up a situation that would spell economic and financial liberation. They were coming into our construct, to our banks, to borrow money. Okay? So we've done all of that. All of that has been done. We've built theirs, and we turned around after Emancipation Proclamation and started building our own. There are lists and lists of different towns that we built across this entire country that was undermined and destroyed by the adversary. Okay. What's happening today? You have you got all the doctors, all the lawyers, you got the educators, you got the business people, you got the movie stars, you have the athletes, you name it. We got it, and we're on top of it. Only for the benefit of the adversary, though. Why is it that we can't come together and do all these things? Because we all have different visions. See, the people perish because they don't have a vision. If you don't have a vision, you're going to perish. But if you have a whole bunch of different visions, you're still going to perish because there ain't nobody together. No man is an island, and no man stands alone. So we got a saying back in the day, say, one cocoa full basket. In other words, And the Africans saying little by little. That's how we do it, little by little.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
You see. So
Same principle.
until we can return to the simplicity of our situation with a clearly identifiable identity of the adversary, and not just the identity of the adversary, till we can master and understand the character of our adversary. See, because the nature of the question will determine how the answer will be given. See, a lot of people ask a lot of questions. They don't pay attention to how they're asking the question. So when a person gives the answer, they feel unsatisfied. We have to have the spirit of cooperation. We have to look at this thing as a system that we missed a lot of stuff. And this is an opportunity for us to move forward. Now, in order to move forward, we have to pay close attention to details. They say the devil's in the details. We want to avoid the devil. But if we don't pay attention to the details, well, guess what? The devil just waiting for us to come in so he can just snap us up. That's what happened to many of us. You know, we run after money. We run after opportunity of gain.
You have the power to control the devil too. I'm sick of the devil. I'm not scared of the devil. I'm just scared of just staying in one place.
I say the devil because I don't want to talk in a tone of voice and with certain words to wake up the adversary. That's why I use the word adversary. That's why I might use the word colonizers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You understand?
Because the algorithm would pick it up.
Well, I don't care about the algorithm at all. You know, I have no fear. I have no fear for algorithms. I have no fear for nothing. You know, I'm just dealing with plain raw truth. Those who hear it, so be it. Those who don't like it, so be it. It's their business. I don't care. You know, I'm not here for them. I'm not here for my adversary. But I'm here to try to make things clear. Unless we understand the character of our adversary, we will continue to react and respond to the symptoms of what they do. Right now, it's only 6% of the people. The CDC reported this. Only 6% of the people that are reported as COVID deaths, only 6 of them actually died from COVID-19. Those are 95%, 96% died from heart attack and all of that. So all these people hear about dying from COVID-19, they don't die from COVID-19. They're being paid by the said government. The said government are paying these doctors and hospitals to report the deaths as COVID-19. So this is the character that we're dealing with now. When we talking about why black people can't do it, you have to understand that black people don't own anything. Not here in America, that they can say, look, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live for this. I'm not talking about dying for shit. Because a lot of people, you know, when you say you want to die, you willing to die for this or die for that? 9 times out of 10 people say, no, I'm not willing to die. But that's not the question. The question is, are you willing to live for liberation? Are you willing to live for self-determination? Are you willing to live to be free? And once you're free, are you willing to just be free? See, a lot of people have problems with their own selves. In order for them to move forward, they're going to have to take that and deal with that. Conflict resolution. We have problems, we have situations in our own makeup that we need to resolve as individuals before we can talk about a collective. That's why I say the biggest thing right now is to identify. I mean, I know a lot of people in the medical field. I know a lot of people in the medical field that are black, that would service black people as well as white people, anybody. But they would service, you know, they would service anybody, but they would also service their people. But that's not the point. You see, the point being is this: when you're talking about building something. And as Major speaking about, people financially competent. A lot of black people are not financially competent. Okay. But understand this. They may not be financially competent, but the majority of black people out here, they got a job. They're working. Okay. So those who are financially competent, they need to develop strategies about how to get these people that are not financially competent, just to get them together. Some of those people that are not financially competent ain't worthy to be brought together because they have no interest in that shit. They are so incompetent that they believe somebody's gonna rip them off. And they have all their little different experiences that they have not resolved, and their character and personality is being molded and shaped by their actual experiences, because nobody's showing them that they shouldn't allow that to happen. They just go through experiences in order for them to come away from the experience with the knowledge. But don't let what you experience change you. Walk away with the knowledge of what you walk away from it with the knowledge. You don't walk away with the hurt and turn away and then use the hurt now to block yourself from your further development and evolution to your happiness. Everybody steps on a nail sometime, cut their hand with a knife sometime, but you're not going to stop using the knife. You're going to say, oh, I cut my hand with a knife because I held my hand this way. I need to hold whatever I'm cutting another way. You walk away with the lesson. And that's what black folks are not doing. They're not walking away with the lessons. And they're forming these little small groups that caresses their failure. That caresses and they don't realize that the road to success is laden with a bunch of failures and setbacks. They don't see it like that. They don't see it like, oh, I failed at this. I had a setback at that. They don't see that. Okay, you had a setback. Okay, you did something that didn't work. Okay, keep on the path. Walk away with the lesson. And so no one is teaching these principles and precepts because we're all motivated by the symptoms of our condition.
You just did.
Excuse me?
You just taught us. You just did it.
I'm speaking in real time. You know what I'm saying? I don't say I'm speaking in real time right now. I'm not, I'm saying on a scale that we need to be taught on. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I'm not teaching that.
Each one teach one.
What I'm saying right now is what I taught my children.
Yes.
And what I teach my grandchildren.
Yes.
It's just the way I live. And so now, and that's what we need to understand when we talk about black community. We're talking about the black family. We're not talking about a place that has a black population of 99 and 95% black or 99% black. We're talking about the black family. And so we need to break down the work to look. Those of us like myself and Major, we need to set up a program, a system, which, we're in the process of doing, where we can go into the black community, where what we see as the black community, which is a largely black populated neighborhoods, I would say black neighborhoods, and go door to door like Jehovah's Witness. You see, we need to do it like that because that's one way we can do it and not get into our adversary's cognitive mind. See, because he wants to conjure what he needs to conjure to offset what we're conjuring. What we're conjuring is peace and love. We're conjuring self-sufficiency. We're conjuring self-determination. We're conjuring for ourselves a black political body. We're conjuring all these things that he doesn't see as being beneficial to him. But he sees it as being beneficial to us. And anything that benefits us is counterproductive to him. And so we have to understand that is the character. I don't hate him for that. That's his character. That's his nature. That's what he does. Now, once we establish that, we don't need to be on that no more. We don't need to be on that no more. And everything we do for us need to be tailored based upon the knowledge that we have of his character. Like Martin Luther King said, there will come a time when a man will be judged by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin. Because you got some black folks that's white. And it's a part of that because they've been trained up like that. Carter G. Woodson points that out. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we don't know. We know. It's just that we're looking at it like a teaching moment rather than a reality. It's an exercise that needs to be instituted, something that needs to be done. So the greatest thing is for us to identify those who have the will and the empowerment on both sides. There's a majority of us have the will but don't have the means by which to. And those of us, and there's another percentage of us that has the empowerment but don't have the will. But inside of those two, we have a percentage. No matter how small it is, we have to find that percentage. That's the needle in the haystack. Because they're ready. They want to come. And many of them, some of them probably online right now listening to the broadcast. And some of them later on.
Hold on, let me take the super chat. The Promised Land 444. Thank you for the super chat. Message being received. Blessing, peace to the Queen. Big you the elder, and Salome Major, and I watching. Start coming together. Thank you for the super chat.
I just want to interject something as an educator from what I learned in those sociology classes. All right. They taught, and they taught it well, that the United States has a family structure called nuclear families. A nuclear family goes totally a 180 from a communal family that was our original way of doing things. This nuclear family is supposed to have a mom and a dad and 2.5 points children and a dog or something of that nature that live without dependence and reliance on aunts and uncles, that they're a nucleus that is on its own and survives on its own. And that's what they teach. Anybody that's a CPS worker, anybody that's a sociologist, anybody that's in psychiatry or child development, that's what they teach us. So you have so many people that have bought into that. And so if it was taught that way, it can be taught another way. Because it was taught, it was an ingrained system through the education. So if it took 100 years, 50 years, yeah, it's going to take a while to reteach it back to the tribal way, where the woman is doing the cooking and the gathering, and the man is out there doing the hunting and whatever, however you want to put that in today's terms. And the grandmother would be there actually nursing the grandkids, because we knew how to do that, how to keep our milk. Women don't even know how to breastfeed. That's really has to do with the psyche of how we're interacting with our children from jump. Little things. One of the places that has information is called La Leche League. In the 1940s, when they were calling for all the women to come out of their homes and join the war to help build the bombs and whatnot, they told all the women that bottles were necessary because we needed to win the war. So they got the women used to daycare centers and places like that they never used before. And they trained them to use bottles. And that's why our children today don't know anything but a bottle. And that's so unnatural in so many ways. Because there's ingredients inside mother's milk that they still can't even identify yet. So there's no way it can be It's not the original. It's a duplicate and a poor one at that. So looking at your baby in eye to eye, nursing is building antibodies, teeth, personality. If you hold your baby outward instead of towards you, it creates a different kind of child, even little things like that. So nurturing, just learning how to nurture, we need to be able to do that. A dad needs to be able to nurture. I saw the pictures with Ozone. What a nurturing father that man is. Such a nurturer and protector. He would protect his children with everything. So, there's pockets.
All of that is a natural thing.
Look,
that occurs naturally.
We had 2 hours, y'all. We had 2 hours, so
right.
let's kind of summarize it. All right, Troy, you finished?
One of the things we have to realize also is that a lot of things that we don't have to go backwards to go forward. That's number one. Number two, we do need to know the truth. The truth is what happened and how we got here. And we do need to go forward, but we don't need to leave here in the now to go forward. We need to, because tomorrow is existing right now. Next year is existing right now, but we don't need to be thinking next year. We need to think right now. In other words, keeping it very, very simple. We are a nurturing people naturally. Nobody teaches the little puppy dog to go get the titty from his mama. Nobody teaches the little chicken once it's hatched to stay close to his mother. Nature has its own teaching mechanism. We have to respect that, accept that, and use our minds and work together as a people with goodwill and a civil consciousness, with clean hands and a pure heart. It is as simple as that. Quality is better than quantity. If we're moving swiftly, we're going to miss a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff can be missed. If we're moving in harmony, in a timely fashion, if something needs to be adjusted, we'll be able to see it and we'll be able to make that adjustment and continue moving along smoothly. We have to not look at that type of life as being something that that's not going to work. We're doing everything else. We're moving fast. If you look at everything, like Malcolm X came up, he went into the Nation of Islam. He got arrested, and he woke up and came into Nation of Islam. Look how fast he built all those different mosques and built the newspaper and built all these different things. But at the end of the day, they chopped him down. Look at the Black Panthers. Same thing. They came in and they did bam, bam, they're doing the work. They was doing it, bringing the people together, creating this, creating that, bam. You understand? So we have to understand that the enemy can't deal with ease, can't deal with rhythm, can't deal with calmness. That's accountability. You can't operate it, because when you're balanced, you can see your enemy. When you're moving in rhythm and in time with your situation, you can see your enemy, and your enemy know he can't get in there. He cannot get in there. So, I would end with saying, understand that not all of us, not many of us will be left behind. Our job is to identify the few so that we can bring them together and begin to build the foundation, which is unseen. You do not see the foundation of a building. You don't see it. You see the building, but you don't see the foundation. And so we have to act like that. We have to move like that. We have to move like the roots of the tree, and not like the tree itself with the fruits on. That's how everybody likes that. See the the blossoms and the blossoms. It smells so good. The apple trees blossoming and the peach trees blossoming, but they don't see the roots. We have to move like roots. That's all I am saying. We move like roots. That means we down to discussing shit. We under the ground discussing shit and pulling minerals to us and pulling the sunlight. The sunlight penetrates the earth. We're pulling that light down, and the rain comes. We sucking up that water, and the earthworms are under there working with us, and everybody's working with us, and the ants is working with us and giving us oxygen that's coming in because the earthworm gives us that. So that's all I'm saying. Within this movement now, we have to take another approach because the adversary is on full alert, like nothing we've ever seen before in our history. So, thanks for everyone coming through. That's, my take on everything. Just be calm, be patient, take your time.
Ms. Cat, your last words?
My last words are, if you don't have the books that if you don't have the money to buy some of the books, there's plenty of stuff online. Also, there's a group called the National Association for the Mentally Ill. If you want to go that route, what's already put in place. So they do work with the family and friends of people with mental illness. So that's a resource. I just believe in taking as many opportunities before a crisis arises. I don't want to see another suicide arise. So the best way I can think of is just we have to use what's already here. So if you have to use what's already here, today, there was an old woman in front of my house with 2 big bags of trash, big, huge ones, little teeny lady with a hat, a hot hat on and long sleeves. And it has to be like 110. Thank goodness some people pulled up next to her and she didn't know where she was. So there was a center here for crisis. So I told them where the center was for crisis. So we have to sometimes utilize what's already here until we make something else, is all I can tell you. So there are places to reach out to. And also we'll be looking still for counselors that we can find that will do work online like this. Maybe lecture us. Maybe they can lead some little group or a relaxation or a meditation. I don't know. Everybody be creative with this. That's all I can tell you. We're creative. And you guys already know I don't want to wait. So everybody has patience but me. So if you have it, surrender it. Give it up. Let's have it. We need you. So that's all I can say. And then, let me just say this. And I don't just mean PhDs and stuff like that. Like men and women that have had families that are in the community that know how to take another couple in. You see them having squabbles and this and that. Your next door neighbors. Maybe walk over and talk to them. They might need somebody to talk to them. Maybe they've been in a nuclear family. They don't have any sisters and brothers or aunts or uncles. Maybe you can do that. We always claimed people. Remember when they sold you, they sold a little child. We claimed them. Come on, cousin. That's where we get cuz from. Cousin, like we know everybody because we brought them into the fold. Injured, just been sold from some plantation and some big mama said, come here, baby. And now that's my son. That's my daughter. We need to do some more claiming of each other.
Let me say this. There's 3 kind of people, right? One that talk about what happened, one that watch what happened, and one that make something happen. Which one is you? There's 3 type of people I'm about to repeat. One that talk about what happened, one that watch what happened, and one that make something happen. Which one is you? And I'm going to leave you with that tonight, right? Because with everything, it's a process to grow. You can't rush nothing. That's just real talk. When you rush it, you mess up. That's not the problem. The problem is that we be in awe We be in fear, we be in doubt, we be in wonder. We be wondering, we second guess.
Mhm.
People always say when I first started my channel, still right now, thank you, Major, thank you, all the time, thank you. No more. My first words say, I'm just doing my part, just doing my part. We all have a part to play. Just do it. Just do something that's good for our people, for the community. That's
Yes.
all you gotta do. Don't look. It can be this small. It can be this big. It doesn't matter as long as it comes from here. We have to understand that. Too many times we are paralyzed in fear. We're paralyzed in doubt. We paralyzed in awe. We paralyzed in confusion. And we don't realize that we say that we rely on the Creator. We say we believe in the Creator. He gonna lead the way. So why are you worried? Why are you scared?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know something, pick up a book. Ask Elder, ask Miss Kathy. It's not hard. But we make it hard because you know why? We have these same discussions over and over again. This view versus this view and blah, blah. Do your part, Elder. Do your part, Kathy. Do your part, Major. That's how it began. And we still can meet up and talk like this. See, the problem that I witnessed in my lifetime, we are some pessimistic people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an optimist. I'm positive. See, when people say, I've learned a long time ago, and shame on people that say I can't and never. I don't use those words in my vocabulary. You know, slaves thought they wasn't gonna never be free. Black people never thought in this country they had what they have and got as far. But we came a mighty long way. And though we got a mighty long way to go, we can't stop. I'm using phrase, we can't stop trucking. Mm-hmm. We have to stop saying things to our people. We put fear in them, we don't even know it. They're inferior not by choice, because the enemy plays their inferior behavior in them, and on top of it, at least you don't do no better, because at least you got a little inferiority in them. They got a little fear in them because they're not willing to go all the way. But we ain't talking about leadership no more. We're talking about what we need to do as a people. And we need to do is do something. Because you know it's an old saying, right? Something is better than nothing. Do something. That's all we got to do. I'm going to y'all chat. I won't be able to read. It's late. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. I got to go to bed. Shout out to Miss China and people in Louisiana. I got family out here from New Orleans and stuff. They crowd us up like we like pack racks. And you know, I'm down my city. I'm down the boot, y'all, Louisiana. So they coming down here. Hurricane Ida about to hit. I guess in Louisiana this weekend. And my girl China building, she was talking just nice. Say, "What's up, Major? Nothing looking forward to this hurricane, but I will weather it. We're gonna have you in prayer, and the people, the sisters and brothers, people in Louisiana, period in prayer. You know that it can be something serious. You know what I'm saying? So family come out here.
Major, I did hear that Hurricane Ada, whatever her name is, they haven't had one this bad since 1850. It's supposed to be something that is worse than any type of hurricane New Orleans has ever had in recorded history since 1850. So that means it's going to be worse than Katrina, y'all. So get ready, whatever y'all do. You live in that area, you know what to do.
We definitely keep them in prayer. I have family out there I'm in communication with. We got family already came out here. Some was able not to get out the city, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna definitely be a prayer warrior tonight, you know, that everything be all right. But but thank y'all so much. I won't lie, I can't go through all y'all comments. There's a whole bunch. I'm a bit tired. I see y'all really asking some questions and got comments, but I don't think I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, really tired.
Thanks for having us again.
Yes, Major.
Major TV is the hurricane. Tahara Muhammad said, Major TV is the hurricane, whipping through the minds and waking some up. Look,
that's nice.
So Major, peace and love, brother.
Is
Peace
that
and
the
love, brother.
Tyrone?
All right, brother.
Is that the Tyrone from Chi-Town? Is that the Tyrone Muhammad? Hey, Tyrone, if that's you.
No, that's Tyra Muhammad. That's Tyra
Tyra?
Muhammad.
Okay, I can't see either because I'm old. I'm got my glasses.
Yeah, well, I just try to bring the truth, sister. Thank you so much. I try to just bring the truth. I want to thank Miss Cat. I want to thank the elder. I want to thank everybody that's been on my platform. They contributed. Y'all already know. September 15th is on Major TV 1 year anniversary. I'm working on a documentary that I'm gonna drop on my channel. I'm gonna tell y'all about a little something about myself, about why I started the channel, who recommended, how I didn't know anything about what I was doing, the people that contributed and what have you. Major TV came a long way. I couldn't do it without people like you all that's in the live chat, Miss Kathy and everybody that contributed. I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. And yeah, I didn't see this day coming. I was about to shut the channel down when I had Critique J. Everybody, and it was people in the chat was like, no, you better come back. We need you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ever saw it to be like, bro, you about to quit. Look how far you came. And I'll believe it or not, I don't really think about I don't think about what I do when my heart is in it. I just do it. And since whereas I have my concerns, I'm going with my words, but in the end, I know I had an aim and an objective, and that was really to help out. And it matters to me a lot. Security in the building. What's up? Appreciate being in the place at this time. Heard your clear Major. Just do something. That's what's up. That was up. I'm just happy with what this channel have been able to do. I always say it's real engagement conversation with the Black community. When I say Major TV, I don't like to say it in a single. I like to say our channel, not my channel, right? I like to say our Major TV because it's the people that made this channel, not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the face, of it. But it's people like the Cat, the Tall Black to me, and people that came on, the elder, and a lot of people that contributed, a code and what have you. I thank everybody. I'm really humble and stuff, but y'all know what time it is. I have to go. I'm sorry I didn't catch all y'all comments. It's live almost 2.5 hours. Again, I want to thank my guests. I want to thank you all. So I gotta go. Love y'all. Y'all stay focused, stay cool. Just be black. Peace.
Peace.
To the people, the power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Power to the people. The power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Wish we could see that we hurting ourselves. Hate to see each other excel. Looking like crabs in the barrel. Wanna gossip, wanna judge. What if we all just unified and put all our differences aside to preserve our way of life and be black and keep our pride and be kings under God and speak words that are wise and don't glorify things that took our fucking people lives. We've been oppressed so long, we feeding on our own, disconnected from our people, stuck in zombie mode. Children of the lost tribes. Let's go back to Israel. They say I'm trivial, but I swear it's biblical. We need to come together, not only at funerals. I'm so tired of fucking funeral. Power to the people. The power is the people.